We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hello, and welcome back to The Grumpkin Show. Just over 3 months ago, I made a video about the Daddyofive channel and his family. The abuse that he was inflicting on his children was exposed and viewed around the world. First picked up by Philip DeFranco, and then by major news networks, it spread like wildfire. The entire world was concerned about the safety and well-being of the children under the care of Mike and Heather Martin, or as they would like to be known, Daddyofive and Mommyofive. Mike and Heather would really like us to forget all of the ways that they terrorized these children. But that's not going to happen. There have been so many things that have happened since the kids were taken away that there's too much to cover. There are other YouTubers that have made a multitude of videos on the subject, but my main concern is one of their most recent videos. It really highlights how nothing has changed for these people except their address and the number of kids under their care. They are still the same Mike and Heather. They are still the same Daddyofive and Mommyofive. They are still the same people. They abused their children and recorded it and put it on YouTube and put ads on it and made thousands upon thousands of dollars. There are still people out there defending them, saying that this was not abuse. That this was fake.
Oh my God. Stop!
Does that look fake to you? Can you act that well? Do these children have Academy Awards for their acting? Do they go through rigorous training to learn how to make themselves cry like that? Or were they really thinking that they were in trouble? Were they really being physically abused and hurt? If it wasn't true, why would Cody be covered from top to bottom in bruises? Why would Emma have cried so hard when she was slapped across the face? That is not fake. And anyone who says it is lacks the brain cells to even identify child abuse. We're going to take a look at the video Mike and Heather recently put up, detailing what Mike calls as the actual truth behind Amy and Mike's marriage. I would like to explain to you why the information he gave was incorrect and how he is still an abusive, manipulative, narcissistic psychopath. Let's dive in.
Oh my God, babe. We got over 4,000 likes, so obviously they want to know. Now, come on.
All right, well, for the record, I don't like talking about exes.
But you will. You will talk bad. Because you think that that's what people want to hear, and you have nothing else that you can talk about because there is a court gag order on you. You are legally not allowed to discuss Cody, Emma, or any of the children. You're not allowed to include them in the vlogs. You're not allowed to pull pranks on them. You're not even allowed to see Cody and Emma because the abuse was so visceral. But please continue. Let's see what you have to say.
But okay, whatever. So, the story with Amy. Now, some things I gotta leave out because I just can't talk about those things right now. But in the future, I'll probably be able to talk about those things, and I'll be able to tell you a little more about all that.
Oh, because, you know, when the gag order gets lifted, he'll have no problem exploiting this situation, too. I mean, no press is bad press, right?
But Amy was basically a friend that I had met. And,
When you were in a bad place.
when I was in a bad place at the time, I was in a bad place. I was very vulnerable.
Vulnerable, huh? You mean vulnerable like this? Like these kids were vulnerable?
Get off!
You're gonna break your bed!
Oh my God!
Ow!
What happened?
He pulled that thing out and
You
hit
hurt
me in the
Mom.
foot.
I hear you on your face and you ruined my life.
Stop it! That's enough!
I don't care.
Hey, Cody. Cody!
We're not sending you away, you ding dong.
Would we really send you
Seriously.
away?
Shut up, I don't want to hear you on your face and you ruined my life.
You mean like vulnerable, how children under your care that have no options, no rights? You mean vulnerable like that? Or do you mean vulnerable like a grown-ass man who wouldn't go get a job? And so he had to find the closest person to mooch off of. Do you mean vulnerable like that or vulnerable like this?
Can you guys stop? And I was in a bad place at the time, and I was gonna be moving because I couldn't afford living where I was living by myself anymore, so I was gonna be moving. Well, she lived in it's kind of like Section 8 housing where you pay what you have pretty much. They make sure you can pay for your utilities.
Based off of your income and your bills.
Yeah, it's income based and all that stuff. So she said, well, why don't you just move in with me? And I was like, whatever. I mean, I really didn't have many options at that point, and I thought I had made a pretty decent friend. So
What that means is Amy was a single mom living on her own, supporting herself and her child. You brought absolutely nothing to the equation. Nothing. No job, no car, nothing.
So I moved in with her, and long story short, the friendship went places that it should not have went to, and
Yuck. Did you see that face? Let's go back.
because I mean, to be honest, I was in a very vulnerable state.
He keeps using that word vulnerable. Oh, he was so vulnerable. He was so vulnerable that this single mom that had so much to gain for being with you. I mean, Jesus. I mean, you had this high-paying job. You were going to pay your bills. Oh, he was so vulnerable.
And I guess I was vulnerable, and I misunderstood feelings and thought maybe they were something else. And I was very confused at the time, and I was just in a very vulnerable state. And yeah, I mean, just keep it real with you. I was in a vulnerable state, and I was stupid.
Oh my God. I hate you. I'm trying to jump.
Are you serious?
I'm trying to jump a freaking picture. I'm trying to jump a freaking picture, and this guy says ruined it.
It was hilarious.
Mean.
What is wrong with you, boy?
I hate you.
What the hell was that?
Yeah. Ow.
Emma. Okay, what else can I say about all that? So I've been living with her, and she also had a kid. And she also had an ex-husband, the kid's dad. This guy, he came and picked the kid up. They had their visitation and stuff like that. I thought everything was fine. This guy was really weird, though. I mean, I never really was able to carry a conversation with him. He always stayed to himself, and him and Amy were always, like, acting weird around each other. It was weird. It was like they didn't want to talk anywhere near me.
Oh, you mean two people that used to be together, that had a child together, that have split up and now are seeing other people, are uncomfortable around each other? Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird, huh? Oh, and it's weird that they went and had a conversation about their son without you? No, that's not weird. That's called co-parenting. It was none of your business.
Like, he would call her down to the car, and they'd be out there talking for like an hour or whatever about what, I don't know, but...
It had nothing to do with you. But in Mike's world, the whole world revolves around him. So obviously, they must be cheating or sneaking around behind his back because, I mean, there couldn't be any other logical explanation. It's not like they're, I don't know, co-parenting. You are so controlling that she couldn't even have a conversation with her ex about the child that they shared? Are you that immature and stupid?
Whatever, I really didn't care, to be perfectly honest with you. But anyways, one day she comes to me crying, bursting into tears, crying her eyes out, telling me that this guy, her kid's father, is going to get custody of her son, take her son away from him because I'm living there and we're not married.
So you think she conned a lawyer into lying to you about what was going on? You don't think that maybe the father of this child was uncomfortable with you being there without making some sort of commitment to the child's mother? You don't think the child's father may have been uncomfortable with him calling you daddy and you two weren't even married? Yeah, I think that might be, I don't know, uncomfortable. I think that might be the right thing to do is say, okay, well, you either need to make a commitment to this person and my child, you need to make a commitment to be there or get the fuck out. And you know what? You could have. You could have left. You had all those months there to go and get your license and get a job, but you didn't. If you were so unhappy there, if you did not want to be with Amy, if you did not want to be the father of that child, then you should have gotten off your lazy ass and gotten a real job.
Well, I was like, that don't even sound right. That's completely ridiculous. They can't do that. And they were like, well, the laws are in this state, yada, yada, yada. And then she got a lawyer, and I'm like, well, maybe this is real because a lawyer's actually involved. And a lawyer straight up told me, yeah, that's what's going on. Because you two aren't married, he could take custody. And then I was straight up with her. I was straight up and honest with her and said, I don't want to get married. I don't want to get married. And she even said she didn't want to get married.
Oh, you got played. Someone played you into getting married. Okay. So you were such a catch. You know, you had such a high-paying job, such a fancy car. You brought so much to the table that they had to swindle you into a marriage. They had to trick you into getting married, right? You're so full of shit. You are so full of shit. You are so lazy that you would rather marry someone that you claim you were not in love with than, I don't know, go out and get a job.
I was pretty much her babysitter.
He was pretty much her, really.
Because he had no job. The only way he could have contributed to the household that they had together was by watching her kid. He did literally nothing. And he was supposed to be thanked for doing bare minimum. He did not cook, he did not clean, he did not work, he did not drive. He had basically no possessions of his own. She provided everything for him and worked her ass off and would come home to a messy house. And she's supposed to be grateful for that?
Let's put it bluntly. I mean, when somebody moves and they don't know the area, they know nothing, and then, you know, they need help to get their driver's license, and not by taking the test form or anything stupid like that, but if you don't drive, how can you go take the test by yourself? Like, your wife should be the one to help you go do that.
Turn the camera. Amy pretty much came out of nowhere talking all kinds of trash and saying all kinds of lies and stuff.
Because we haven't talked to her in 5 years.
Yeah, we haven't talked to her in 5 damn years.
Amy came out of nowhere telling the truth. She saw what was happening in your house and had no idea what else she could do except tell the truth. How you were controlling and manipulative and lazy even back then. You were too good to get a real job. Even helping with the bare minimum, you expected her to fall on the floor grateful.
I'm glad she enjoyed her 15 minutes of fame because it's done now.
Oh yeah, 15 minutes of fame. That's funny, because I'm pretty sure it only made her look worse to be associated with you. Worldwide, you are known as a child abuser. How would she gain anything from associating herself with you? Why would she put herself up for that scrutiny? Why would she set herself up to be criticized and picked on by your hundreds of thousands of quote-unquote fans? Almost everything she said lined up with what you're saying, except she told more. She explained that on top of everything that you're confirming about her story, you were controlling.
She enjoyed her 15 minutes of fame because it's done now. I mean, that's just despicable.
So to you, it's despicable for someone to do an interview about you and explain how they felt used and abused, but it's not despicable to hit, torture, and terrorize children. Let's just think about this for a second. This is what he thinks is despicable.
Two big heartstrings, I guess you could say. I started to feel like I could help this guy. You know, he seemed all right.
This is not.
Oh my God, he's trying to Oh, are you really hurt? What hurts?
He jumped on my back.
If Mike and Heather are not removed from YouTube, who knows what further damage will happen. Nothing good will come of them being on this platform. And it is with that I leave you. I thank you for joining me, and I'm sorry that today's video wasn't more pleasant, but these disgusting issues do need to be talked about because children are still being abused. Children are still being exploited, and Mike and Heather are still making money off YouTube. As always, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye.